My name is Melissa Benavides, and I'm here today to shed some light on a serious issue. In order to get a clear understanding, I want you all to close your eyes and imagine this. Emily is cold, hungry, and scared. And even though she has searched through 6 different dumpsters today, she couldn't find enough to eat. It's only 30 degrees outside, and Emily is spending the night in the alley behind the convenience store. And she's terrified that the 2 men who tried to rape her earlier will find her again. Now imagine this. Emily is a young girl, only 13 years old, and she is a teen runaway. But Emily could be anyone. She could be the young supermarket clerk you see in the grocery store every Saturday. She can even be the boy who lives in the house next to you. Emily could be anyone. Your little sister, or even your own child who may run away tomorrow or years from now. Each year, more than 1 million teenagers run away from home, and according to Runawayteens.org, 1 in 7 kids between the ages of 10 and 18 will run away at some point. There are 1 million to 3 million runaway homeless kids living on the streets in our country right now. This is a national epidemic affecting teens and their families all across the country. And the situation is only expected to get worse with each passing year. Many wonder what would possess a teenager to leave the safe security of their own homes to live out on our treacherous city streets. But if you look closely, you will see there are many reasons why. Poor parenting, physical and sexual abuse, and psychological issues are often at the heart of this matter. One chief cause of teen runaways is directly related to poor parenting or lack thereof. Many kids come from broken homes and live with divorced or single parents. Oftentimes, these children are left at home unsupervised while the parents can work long hours just to pay the rent and put food on the table. In most of these cases, there is no father at home. According to information from the statistics from A Fatherless America, 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. And what's more is that statistics from the CDC show that 85% of teenagers with behavioral disorders often don't have a father either. On the flip side of the coin are the entitled kids born to rich families. These teenagers often have little to no supervision and too much time on their hands. These kids who lack strong role models or who are neglected easily become depressed, pregnant, addicted to drugs or alcohol, become gang members, or much worse. To these teenagers, the streets are their home. It becomes their way of life. Probably the main motivation for teens running away from home is related to abuse. These helpless kids are desperately trying to escape the abuse they are experiencing within their own homes. Unfortunately, thousands of children are abused every day. According to the Health Behavior News Service, a research study conducted by research sociologist Kurt Johnson on 455 teenage runaways reflected that physical and emotional abuse were the main reasons these teens left home. And also information from Runaway Statistics and Research reported that 80% of all teenage girls who ran away were physically and sexually abused. This type of mistreatment is extremely damaging and will have lasting repercussions for the abused, often in the form of psychological disorders. Children that are abused often don't know where to turn to for help, as it's usually a family member or close friend that's hurting them. So usually they end up living on the streets. To them, being hungry and homeless is a better alternative to facing the cruelty they experience in their own homes. And sadly, these runaways often become exploited by the very things they initially fought to escape, as they are forced into prostitution and child pornography just to survive. In other situations, young teenagers are controlled by their raging hormones and adrenaline-fueled emotions. A mere misunderstanding with a parent or sibling can escalate into a full-blown fight. Many teens will leave their homes to stay with friends until they calm down. They are overtaken by these intense emotions they experience in the moment of conflict. Scientific research printed in the American Journal of Psychiatry has revealed that the frontal lobe of our brains that's responsible for reasoning and rationalization is not fully developed into adulthood. What that means is that teenagers have little self-control and they're unable to fully think about the outcome of their actions. Unfortunately, many kids don't realize the dangerousness of their actions until it's too late. Also, in many cases, other mental issues can influence teenagers into making the wrong decisions. Such psychological disorders may be pre-existing, but lots of times disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorder and depression can be triggered by the trauma of abuse. According to the Midwest longitudinal study of homeless adolescents, 74% of male runaways and 57% of females in the study have conduct disorder, compared to about 15% of the general teen population. This data proves the direct correlation between the psychological conditions these teens have and their decision to run away from home. The problem of teen runaways in our country is devastating, and the circumstances behind this epidemic are just as sad. Lack of parental role models, abuse, and psychological disorders are the main motivators behind this crisis. The most tragic thing about all of this is that most of these kids just want a better life, but don't know how to find it. The sad truth is that the majority of these runaways are completely preventable, and it all starts at home. If we as a society don't come together and find a way to help our teens, this problem will only escalate. If we fail our youth now, what will become of our country's future?